everybody. Good evening. Good evening, Ryan. Good evening, Rick. I appreciate that, Ryan, wearing the shirt, heading to Vegas. Truck looks great. We definitely need to, now that you've, after this weekend, you get it all out there and for the world to see, and you get home and you take a break. We need to get together and get some pictures, and I can make a little slideshow on what you've got accomplished. I think I can download quite a bit of the ones that you had sent me in the past, but if there's anything else, I'll get with you and we'll try to get something put together for you. But yeah, that thing looks great, and it's going to be awesome on the floor in SEMA. So yeah, congratulations on that. So new episode, 118th episode. It's crazy, hard to believe it. We got this much going on. But that's where we're at. So a couple things last week I mentioned. I bought a box and pan brake, and so I went ahead and built a roll around chassis or roll around frame for that, and I'm putting the video together. I was trying to get it done tonight, but couldn't get it done. Hey Chris, how you doing? So I got some unedited stuff that we'll show you, and that's coming out that came out really well. Got a bunch of equipment off the floor, and actually with Chris's help this weekend, I did a big shuffle and got the T-type Buick up on the 4-post rack where I have most of the room to do work, and been working on that. And I got the Cup Car up on the 2-post lift, so I can get some more stuff done on that. I need to get the rear end housing in and finish up the radiator and a couple other little things. Possibly for anybody that's in Florida, it's very possible I'll be taking it to the Cars and Coffee in Boca on Sunday. We'll see, weather permitting. Right now it looks one station says iffy, the other channel says it should be good. So as we get closer, we'll figure that out. And of course, I got a couple things I got to finish up on it, but that's gonna get done. I did some suspension stuff on that over the weekend, so we'll go over that too. So things moving along. We can get the Cup Car done. We can get the Vet Hawk back in the shop and get going on that. The pot and pan brake was a big piece of equipment that we needed. I needed to finish the floors in the car, so that's really good. So that's the next move on that car, is to start bend up the roll cage and start doing the floors in the car and the firewall. And of course, sheet metal brake is very important to get those things, not the roll cage, but get the other things done. So yeah, so I guess we can start off with that. So let's see, I didn't get that part edited, so let me go ahead and show you guys a couple videos here on what we were doing there. So I think I showed this last week, but here's... Alright, so today I'm going to go ahead and build a stand for this box and pan brake that I just picked up. I need this to build the floors and stuff for the Vet Hawk project. And of course, it's going to be... Sorry, I got the music still in the background. I totally forgot to shut that off. Give me a second here. We'll get this all straightened out. There we go. And I've done that a couple of times. Yeah, Dave, thanks. For this box and pan brake that I just picked up, I'm going to need this to build the floors and stuff for the Vet Hawk project. And of course, it's going to make fan shrouds and stuff like that a lot easier to make. This thing's in beautiful shape. Looks like it's hardly ever been used. So looking forward to that, but we need a stand to work with it. So for you guys that may not know what a box and pan brake is, so a regular sheet metal brake bends sheet metal in a straight line. You can bend it, as far as the tool will let you, typically about 135 degrees, but you can't do the sides because it's a straight edge all the way across. There's no brake in it. Where in a box and pan brake, go back to the picture here, you can see it has all these fingers. So you can remove fingers and then you can actually make a complete box and have the sides bent up. This one here will take up to a 4-inch sidewall. So you can make a complete open-ended box with 4 sides and be 4 inches high all the way around. Really, really important when you're trying to make stuff like when we did Chris's fuel tank. We made that fuel baffle and it went in the fuel cell. Well, that I had to make out of 3 different pieces and then weld it together. Where with this tool, I could have made it out of 1 piece and then just put a couple tacks in the corners and it would have been done. So definitely help out a lot. Get a lot of stuff done as far as that goes. Really, really handy tool to have. So let me go. Like I said, I didn't get this completely edited yet, so I think this is the next one I wanted to show. Yeah, so here's the, typically I try to do a drawing so I know which way I'm going. So here's kind of the little bit of a blueprint that I've made. So I made up a side view. This is a side dimensions on our stand. So I've got these 5-inch casters. I got this 2x4. It's going to be the bottom rail here, and then the rest is going to be 2x2. And we're going to make this cart 52 inches overall length wide. So I'll go ahead and cut up a bunch of scrap that I had laying here in the shop, and we're going to get this thing built. Yeah, so that was my original design, and I got looking at what I had for scrap, and I didn't have enough 2x2, and I had some 2.5x2.5, so that's actually what we used. And here's a little video of that. So there's a lot of the tubing that I cut up. Had to grind all the rust off because this stuff's been laying around in the shop. But now I got everything I need. And this is a mock-up of one side of the frame, and then it'll get a bottom piece with the wheels on there. So ran out of time today, but I'm gonna go ahead and get this welded up tomorrow and get this stand built. So that's the upright, and the reason why it's shaped like that is when you are bending metal, you're gonna pull up the bending leaf in the front, and it's gonna want to tilt the machine back. So I built everything forward with a lot of extension towards the back so that it would you wouldn't have to worry about it trying to tip over or anything. Now the like the Harbor Freight sheet metal brake that I had before, that thing doesn't weigh but maybe 100 pounds total, and the new pot and pan box and pan brake is probably 350 pounds just for the tool itself. And then plus the cart, and you'll see I made a storage area to carry even more stuff on it to make it super heavy, so you can bend heavy metal with it and not have to worry about tipping or anything like that. So let me see which some of these videos I'm not 100% sure what they are yet because I'm still okay. So yeah, this will be putting the frame together. You can see I got it clamped down on the table, and the upright welded to the 2x4s. The wheels are bolted in. And here I'm putting a center support in the bottom to support the storage area. There's a top piece to keep the top of the frame square. The one in the sheet metal brake is on top of it. Doing a little welding there, getting the frame built. So that was that part. I'm gonna go ahead and make a build video on this, but again, you know, you guys always get to see the sneak previews. All right. Yep, that's a little bit farther than I want to go. All right, so I just want to show you got the wheels bolted on. So here's the frame all built and painted, the wheels and stuff on it. All right, so there it is, all painted up, all ready to go. So we're getting ready to put the box and pan brake on top of it and finish this project up. So let's go ahead and get that done now. So that was it. Had some old rattle cans and painted that. It was really helpful that I had those casters. It was from a toolbox that I have mounted underneath the workbench, so I couldn't use the wheels because of the height issue. But you know, I figured if they were good enough for a lower tool cart, it should handle 700-800 pounds. It should be good for this, and so far it's worked out great. Let's see here. So here's our final. Hey Ron, how you doing? So here's our final final picture of the unit assembled. Let me put this in place. With the box and pan brake mounted on the cart. Now all we have to do is make a storage tray for the bottom. But this thing's ready to go. We got the balance weight on here. You can see it's sturdy. You can see with those wheels turned, it won't roll. So when you're picking up, you can make a good bend and everything's good. So look at these. It looks like these have never been out. So I think this has been a very low usage sheet metal brake. So it's going to work out real well for us. So that's it for now. We'll go and get this tray made later and finish this thing up. Yep, so that's the unit there. Now, all right, so I get this all. So here's where the use of the a box and pan brake works well. So here's a piece of scrap diamond plate I had laying around, and you can see it's got corners cut out because those are gonna be bent. So it's gonna have 2-inch lips all the way around the tray that's going to go in the bottom of the cart. So here's that video. Piece of scrap aluminum diamond plate, and we're going to go ahead and make a bottom tray for it. So I measured out the bottom of the cart, and it's 47.5 and 24 wide. So that's what I made this 47.25 and 24 wide with a 2-inch lip all the way around. So now we'll go ahead and stick it in the brake. It will bend it up and we'll have our storage tray. So that's let's see here. The next one I know. Okay, so here we go, bending it up. Of course, like I said, these are raw footage. There's stuff I have to cut out, but I think in the actual video, when I get that done, a lot of this will be done in fast forward. Of course, we're using our robotic camera, so it follows you pretty good. Still learning how to use that. But this is 60 thousandths. You can see this bends pretty easy. And there's actually an extension arm in there, and I didn't have it. And one done. So yeah, Rick, it says 16 gauge steel, which if I believe my memory is correct, 16 gauge steel. Is 0.625, so 1/16 thick. So obviously aluminum, you can probably go about 90, maybe even a little bit more. I know I've seen guys where they actually use a cherry picker to help pick up the bending leaf to bend heavier metal. That's why I wanted the cart to be as heavy as I could get it, so that you could bend the heavier stock. Now, of course, these bends I'm making right now, you could do on a standard brake.
Okay, number 2.
Now the next bend is going to be where you can't do that with a regular brake. So let me see, because I had to remove a couple shoes, so I need to do a little editing, a little change here. Oh. Okay, so here's the next step. And you can see here that I moved a couple fingers around so that I would have something to make a sharp bend all the way across. Now, if this was going to be something for a really nice piece of material, I would put gaps a little tighter here and spread a bunch of them out so you get a really nice bend. But this did real well with this. So now I'll go ahead and show you this.
All right, so there we have.
Sorry. Let me go back here. I just, instead of hitting play, I messed up. Okay. There we go. So this is the whole idea of a box and pan brake.
Okay. Grab the handle here.
So this was like 65,000 aluminum diamond plate. So you can see I didn't even have the extension lever on the bend leaf, and it worked out really well. But you can see on this side where the corners are tight, and so it makes a complete half of a box. So that's why this thing's going to become so useful. And I make the last bend here.
And this is our last bend. There we go. Like that, we have our box. So
That worked great for like
fan
fan shrouds and stuff like that. So that was it worked out real well.
All right, so there we have it.
So here it is with some of the some more weight and stuff on the bottom, like I was saying. So kind of close this out, but yeah, here's the final product.
All right, so there we have it. It's all done. We have the box and pan brake, 48-inch. We have our rolling stand, and we have our tray that we put underneath it for storage. So we were able to put all of our bead roller dies, all of our bending dies, even our chop saw, all in the bottom of the cart, so we can move it around to jobs, and it takes more stuff off the floor that would normally be in the way. So came out all very good. Really happy with it.
And you can see what I was talking about earlier. The left wheels are going, I guess you would call that east-west if you're looking at the machine at north. And the wheels on the other end are caster, but they have locks on them. So with these wheels going east-west and the brake north-south, you don't have to worry about the brake trying to roll out from underneath you while you're trying to use it. So that worked out really nice. And there is an extension handle that's a 24-inch extension that goes on these arms here to aid in bending. So I didn't put them on. I didn't even think about it when I was doing this video. But I've bent some aluminum since then, and really makes it even easier than it was already. So it's going to be a great addition to the shop. I'm sure there's going to be tons of boxes and fan shrouds and definitely all the sheet metal for the Vet Hawk. That's all going to be made on this machine. So we're going to put it to good use. So real happy about that, and been wanting to get one of these for quite a while, and this just happened to come up at a decent price, but the machine was in really good condition, so it made the price even that much better. But yes, that was one of the things we did over the weekend. So that's going to be a full video I'll make here shortly, so we can get rid of that. And let's go ahead and go on to the NASCAR. So we've been talking about it. I got the shroud built for that. I just have to cut it out and put the fans in. I got the water necks all welded on. So I was getting ready to start working on setup, and I bought solid alignment blocks for it, so that you wouldn't have all the loose shims like you would on a street car. And I've been over this thing numerous times from talking to people on the internet, and that are in the business and stuff. A lot of the NASCAR race cars would have different spec spindles, or the control arms would be configured in different arrangements, because in a circle track car, you always want to set your chassis up for the slowest part of the track, which is the center of the turn. So when you're in the turn, the car's going to get sideways. I guess that would be, it wouldn't be yaw side slip angle. But nevertheless, the body would have body roll. And when the body rolls, then the front suspension goes through its roll centers, which if you guys go back probably about 30 or 40 episodes ago, we did a couple of weeks of chassis setup, talking about roll centers and stuff like that. So what they do to make the car have the tire planted as flat as possible is you put positive camber to the left front tire, which means the top of the tire is out, and you put negative camber to the the passenger side of the car, because which is the top of the tire in. So what happens is when the car is pitched or rolling through the turn, you always see a car list when you make the turn. Well, the roll centers and the front geometry would then allow those tires to become straight up and down to get the best footprint to make the car go through the corner the best. And the other thing you do in stock car racing is you split the caster. So caster, we talked about in those videos, is if you look at a motorcycle or a bicycle, it's the angle of the forks in the front of the car. It's the invisible line between the upper ball joint and the lower ball joint, and that's the axis that the spindle rotates around. So in chassis setup, doesn't matter what it is. It can be a wagon, it can be a golf cart, it can be your race car, it can be anything. It's always going to have, if the vehicle has pull, it's because there's a split in the caster. Now, typically, manufacturers will run a couple points of degree split, usually about 3 or 4 points, 0.3 or 4 split in caster, because most roads are built with a crown, so the center of the road is higher than the outer edges. at least in the United States, where we're driving on the right-hand side of the road. Left-handed would be the other way around. But so what they do is on the driver's side, they'll put less caster than they do on the passenger side, because there's a crown in the road, and so that helps the car go straight down the road, even though the road has got a crown in it. If you made it equal, the car would then have a pull to the right, so it would be wanting to drive off of the crown. So stock car racing, because you're only making one turn, a left-hand turn, we can use that to our advantage and put a lot of split in the caster. Typically, I'm not sure on a NASCAR Cup car, but when we were running dwarf cars or modified light legend cars, they're all basically the same cars. We would run 2 degrees of split on that small car, and I think I was talking to Chris about it or somebody, but what we would do to check our alignment is we would go down the front stretch about a car length off the wall, and when you got to where you would normally turn into the corner, we would let go of the steering wheel, and if the alignment on the car was set up right, the car would go around the entire turn and end up in the same spot on the backstretch straight away. So what you're doing in a stock car or any car that turns one direction is you're trying to set it up so that the slowest part of the track, the car is the fastest. You don't worry about the straightaway, because you can work the steering wheel and use horsepower to make the car drive down the straightaways. But what you want to do is when you go into the turn and you're going to have to slow the car down, you want the car to be relaxed. So we would set the alignment so that the car is relaxed going through the corner, which allow you to drive in deeper and get on the accelerator quicker to exit the turn. So obviously my Cup car, it was a left-hand car. It wasn't a purpose-built road race car. So that car was built that way. When I did my initial alignment on it, it had a degree of positive camber on the driver's side and 2 degrees negative on the passenger side, and it had about 4 degrees split on the caster. So I was able to get it kind of straightened out by putting stacks of shims in there and manipulating the suspension, but that's not really wasn't really the right way of doing it, because your 4 contact patches on the ground are not going to be square to each other because of the way the caster is split. So I've been all over, like I said, I've been all over this car. Checked spindles, they're equal. So the scrub radius, which is actually the tire as it turns around the ball joint, that's a scrub. The scrub radius on both sides was correct. It was the same. I measured the A-arms, and they were within a 1/16 by my measurement as being all the same length control arms. So I didn't know. I thought, well, maybe it's in the lower mounts or something. I'll figure it out. So this weekend I went and dove into it and tried to really figure out where the chassis was modified. And I don't know how I didn't see it earlier, but it ended up being the upper A-arm mount to the frame was actually moved outward towards the wheel on the left-hand side, the driver's side, and it was moved forward towards the front of the car, and that's how they gained less caster and more positive camber, even though the A-arms were the same because of the way they manipulated. So I went ahead and made a modification, and here's a little video on that. I should have got pictures of it when I was working on it, but I didn't. So let's see what we got here. There we go. So here's a little video I got on that, and this will be, I'm going to put together something when I get the rear axle. That's the next thing I have to do is put the rear end housing in it, but here's the front suspension with it repaired. All right, so I got the Cup car on the 2-post lift and been working on getting the front geometry straightened out. Being the car was built for left-hand turns, the chassis is specific in the alignment spec. So the left front wheel here would normally have positive camber and a lot less caster than the passenger side would have. So I've been measuring all the A-arms and everything was perpendicular. So it took me a minute, and then I realized that this mount here was actually mounted on the frame in a different spot. It was actually moved forward about
3/4 of an inch, and it was about a 1/2 inch out. So I cut it off the frame, put it in the proper position, and welded it back in. So you can see it there. You can see I've got a alignment block in there. And we go over to the other side. There's the passenger side with the same exact size block in there. So since I did that, now the car has 2.5 degrees negative camber on both sides, and it has equal caster. And the tire scrub radius is correct. So on this particular car, the spindles and stuff were all the same, so it made that part of it easy to do. So now the front geometry is all correct for road racing, and we'll go ahead and put the road race housing in the back later this week, and that'll be done. And then brake ducts, and we're just about ready to get this thing to the track.
Yeah, so I guess I didn't think about it. I kind of went over some of the same stuff in the video, but that's obviously raw footage for a future stock car update video. But yeah, so we got that done, and that came out well. And I can go ahead and get the radar in it and stuff later on this week, and keep moving forward with that project. So the other thing, we've had the T-type here for quite a while. I got the brakes done on the car a long time ago, and that was a pain. It wasn't. I was told it had a brake kit that needed to be mounted, and he had instructions and stuff for it. And come to find out, it really wasn't kits. It was OEM parts off of a 5th gen Camaro, and you had to modify them to fit the G body. And the instructions were basically how to do it, but there was no tools, and nothing was made to fit the car. You had to make everything fit the car. So I got that done. I had to make centering devices to center the rear brakes and stuff on it. And that was a pain. And then I went to start doing the rest of the job that I was supposed to do, and that was install a Holley EFI setup and Holley dash in the car and get it running. But when I got the car in the shop and started looking it over, there was more to be done than what was talked about. So kind of hard to see in these pictures. They were just generic pictures, but like right here in this corner, let me see if I can zoom in over here. So right here behind the alternator is the power steering reservoir, just sitting in there, not mounted to anything, just sitting there. And you can see these battery cables. I mean, these battery cables were a hot mess. They just used speaker amp wire battery cable with these Y blocks, and the cables went all over the vehicle. I mean, it was not ready to be ran. That was for sure. Fuel lines and stuff were all over the place. And then later I found that this turbo, first of all, it's not clocked properly. And there was no drain hose on it. So I went, since the motor had been sitting for a number of years, I decided, let me go ahead and pull the cam sensor out and put a oil primer in it and prime the engine. Well, when I did that, oil went everywhere because there was lines not hooked up. So I started getting involved with that. And then that's when I kind of dropped the ball on the car because it was such a mess, and there was so much that needed to be sorted out and figured out. I just kind of lost interest in the whole project. Like the turbo drain back mounting or hose, being it's an aftermarket turbo, nothing you could purchase would fit. So I ended up buying multiples of different types of AN fittings, both with regular AN hose ends with an adapter fitting to go to the block and to the turbo. Then I bought ones that actually have male threads built into the fitting, so the hose would go directly into the block and directly into the turbo, and multiple angles, 90s, 60s, 30s, 45s, and it took a while till I could get a piece that would actually work, because from the drain hole of the turbo to the drain location in the block was only 6.5 inches to put a -10 line in there. So you guys worked with AN stuff, you know that first of all, your fittings are going to be like 3 inches long a piece, and well, I guess it was a little bit longer than that because the hose ended up being about 4 inches long, but just very, very tight. And I wanted to make sure it had the right pitch on it, because turbo oil drain is critical for not having the turbo smoke. So here's a picture. You can kind of see there there's underneath all this electrical stuff, which most awesome mounting, huh? Just put electrical tape around the connector, and that's going to work on 150 amp service, just a little piece of electrical tape from it shorting against anything. But yeah, the oil reservoir right behind the spark plugs, no, not mounted or nothing, but all the hoses were run to it, so you never would be able to get any spark plugs out of it. Here's a fuel pressure regulator just hanging in the breeze, not mounted to anything. So like I said, it kind of got me to the point where I just really didn't even want to work on the project anymore. It saddened me that it was at that point. But I talked to the owner, and he was kind of like, I'd really like to get this thing moving along. So I agreed that I would get back on it, and so that's what I did this week, or today actually, because today's Monday. But like here's I moved the power steering tank up behind the headlights, and you can't see the bracket, but it's hard mounted. And then this inner wheel well has a big ridge on it, and so the lines were going to have to go up and over, which then they're not going to, they need the reservoir needs to gravity bleed to the compressor or to the power steering pump, otherwise you're going to have air issues. So went ahead and made a passageway through the inner fender, so the lines would stay level and then go downhill on the other side. So that's going to work out nice. It's a really dark picture, but that's the fuel pressure regulator now, solid mounted, rotated around so the pressure gauge is on the side where you can see it, and that worked out real nice. And next thing I gotta do is work on getting the cables done. Here's a couple more pictures. Just trying to get everything arranged properly. Turbo is now mounted, and you can see here they're hot side pipe or cold side pipe, but leaving the turbo. There's no way that's going to work, so this pipe's going to have to get cut and a new piece put in where it's in alignment with the turbo. I guess they didn't do that correctly because the turbo was never mounted before. I don't know how they missed that, but anyhow, there's a better picture. You can see the pipe to the intercooler is coming out. Basically, if it's not touching the fan, it's 90 degrees, and it's about 2 inches below the compressor housing. So that's going to get cut back here and then a straight pipe so it lines up correctly to the compressor housing. You can't really see, but the drain hose is mounted in there. Yeah, it's still too dark to really see, but I got all that all mounted back up again. You can see the oil tank, and you can see the lines coming through the inner fender there. So they go down nicely, and of course all the other wiring is out of the car because putting the Holley system in, we don't need the factory ECU harnesses and all that stuff in. So now that's all on a bench, and I'm going to strip all the stuff that I don't need, and then be able to get it all plumbed up. You can see here I got the oiling feed line to the turbo. Now the turbo is clocked properly to where it's going to lubricate properly. And this is the engine harness that I took out of the car. So now I'm in the process of stripping all this down, and there's probably only going to be a handful of wires that are actually going to be reused. Most of this is all going to go away, especially this entire side, because that's all ECU and engine management here. So that's going to be the next big goal. Tomorrow is peeling all this. It all had the convolute GM tubing on it. I peeled all that off, but now I got to peel all this electrical tape off, and then look at wiring schematics and check which wires are going where, and then figure out what needs to be removed and what needs to stay. So there is this box here. This is where it connects to the firewall. So this harness, most of this will probably stay, although it's going to have oil pressure and water temperature and stuff like that going through there. And that's all got, we don't need that because that's all going to go through the Holley system now. So, you know, that's what I'll be doing next, is removing all the stuff that's not needed. Basically, it's going to be ignition control and fan control, AC control for the compressor and stuff like that. So this will be a substantially smaller harness when I'm done. Yeah, Chris, definitely going to save some weight, definitely. Here's all the battery cables that I took out of it. We're going to put them back in, but it's all going to be put in where it makes sense. They had this heavy cable coming up on the driver's side, and they had this one gauge going all the way back to the passenger side, back to the starter. I rearranged it where now the battery power is going directly to the starter, and then it's going to have a battery wire coming up from the starter to the passenger wheel well, where we'll split it to all the other components. So we won't have that large mass of junk that was mounted all over the place, and half of this harness won't even be used again. And it had altimeter gauges in the dash. We're going to go ahead and put a 6.86 Holley Pro Dash in the dashboard. It won't have all this other stuff hanging. I don't know if I have pictures. Let me see if I had pictures of the dash before I took it all apart. It had stuff everywhere. Yeah, so here's a picture of the dash before I took it apart. So you had this board made in there with those gauges. You had this Scan Master LED light bar above the dash. You had these gauges mounted to the side of the dash. Somebody did a real nice job with making it in the same upholstery and everything. But that'll all be gone now, and it'll just have one digital screen right here in the middle, and that will have all the data readings that this stuff had, plus all the engine management stuff. And you'd be able to do tuning, and you'd be able to do data logging, and you'd be able to replay data logging all on that dash. And it'll have GPS speedometer now, so you don't have to worry about if you change tire sizes or any of that. It's always going to be using GPS for speed, so your speed's always going to be accurate. You don't have to worry about having speedometer error, speed error problems, which is kind of nice on a performance car you're driving on the street. You always, when you see cars with the bubblegum machines on the roof, you want to make sure you're going the right speed limit. So really helpful to have GPS speed control. So yes, that's kind of where I'm at with that car now. See if there's any other pictures. That's all. Oh, this is all the wiring that I took out from under the dash, and the ignition sub harnesses that would unplug from the main harness. So yeah, you can see there's quite a bit of stuff that got removed, and that won't go back in. There's some other plumbing that didn't make any sense that we're redoing that. They actually had, this is a 3-inch pipe, and actually had a bump up silicone hose to the turbo, because the turbo has a 4-inch hose on it. So that got swapped out for a 4-inch line now, which I'll I'll put in later. There's no sense in having a restriction going into the turbo. It's a bad place to have it. So, yeah, that's when this is when we were mainly taking apart. You can see how much battery cable and craziness there was. I took the power brake booster out only because I wanted to get to the wiring at the firewall, and it was easier to do that because it's underneath the windshield wiper, so it was easier to do that by removing the power brake booster. And that's something on these cars. Typically, they have electronic brakes, but somebody's already converted this to vacuum, which I think I would have done Hydro Boost. But again, there's going to be wiring and relays and stuff that would have went for the electric brakes, and that was still in the car. So all that stuff will come out. There'll be no more wasted electricity or wasted stuff in the car. So that was that's pretty much what we did. I didn't get pictures on Dave's car. I got his new Autovox camera mirror, rear view mirror mounted in the car. That came out real nice. I should have got some video of that. Got some window cranks working in that thing. Pretty much we're down to remote controls for the door locks, and that's about all I have left on that list. So that thing's coming a long ways. So that's working out good, and I think we're gonna be taking her back to the body shop this weekend. They got a couple things they got to straighten out, and we'll get that thing wrapped up here quickly. Here's a picture I took today. Actually, I know last week I tried to put Benji in my lap and give you guys a good look at him, but he's way too crazy as still, he's only 5.5 months old, so he's still a pup and very energetic and doesn't want to hold still. But he was in his playpen in the shop, and so there he is. He's growing quickly. When I first got this playpen, he was to this railing right here, and now he's almost to the top of it sitting. And when he stands up, he's way up and over the playpen. I guess it's probably about a 42-inch side thing. So he's growing like a weed, as they do when they're young pups. So that was pretty much what I had done for the week. I was going to do a valve adjustment on Scott's Vega. We got our signals crossed, and he thought I was coming to his house, and I thought he was coming to the shop. So I didn't get to do that. I was going to do a little technical thing about going over adjusting valves, because it would have been really easy. That car's got the 327 in the Vega is a flat tappet cam, and if I remember correctly, they just have standard valve train on it. So every now and then you do have to go back through the valve train, because they will come back off. It really should have some poly locks put on it, but it will only be in the car for, excuse me, I had hiccups. Should only be in the car for a little bit longer, because I think after the Buick is done and I have his Buick Skylark motor put back in, and we're going to be doing a LS swap in the Vega. So he has another car to take to LS Fest. And the only reason he's pulling that motor out. But yes, that'll be, I did talk to Rick last week about it, but if anybody knows anybody looking for a 327 Chevy, it's only has about 3,500 miles on it. Has aluminum aftermarket heads on it, flat tappet, GM style camshaft in it, 4-barrel dual plane manifold, motor dynoed on engine dyno up at TEC in Riviera Beach at 428 horsepower at like 6,000 RPM. It's a really stout little small block. That motor is for sale. I'm going to go over and I got to do a video on the motor, and so he's going to post it on eBay for sale. And of course, we're going to go to Daytona for the Turkey Rod Run, and he's going to take the car up and put some signs on there. And I guess he could put the video on he could watch it he could open it on his phone, and he could show people. But yes, that's coming up, and that's probably the next. I may take the Cup Car down to Cars and Coffee this weekend, weather permitting, if I can get everything, get the radiator and stuff situated with all the other stuff I got going on. But it definitely will be at Turkey Rod Run in the vintage race car display in the garage area. And of course, the car is for sale. So it's, I'm building it into a legit road race car, not like all the guys that like to do that on the internet. They buy a stock car and list it as a road race car when in reality it's not a road race car until you do a bunch of work to it. Unless it was an actual road race car with lineage from racing like at Watkins Glen or Sonoma back in the day. But they only usually had one of those cars, and so they're very scarce to actually get a true house-built road race car. So most of the ones that are racing in the vintage racing are either one of those cars, which are rare, or they're circle track cars that have been modified back into a road race format, as mine is. But it's got all the new stuff in it, new fire system, new window nets, new belts. It's got the big radiator in it now, or will have this week. The chassis is already set up and already has weight bias. I've moved the battery box to the right side, and all the ballast is in the right frame rail. So now the car is 50-50 side to side weight with between 180 and 200 pound driver, and there's room for more lead in that rail. I haven't got it on a scale yet to see where it's at now with the modifications I've made. The last time I weighed the car, it was 3315 and 3215, and to race in HSR or SVRA, the car has to weigh 3350. That was the actual cup weight in the day. So plenty of room for more ballast tuning with the car. I've already got the right spring rates in that. So pretty much everything on the car is done and ready. The car's ready to go to the racetrack. I do have I got to change the pump in the fuel tank. I found out that pump is too small for the motor. It's making more power than I thought it would. But other than that, I've got that fresh built crash box or dog box transmission in it, and now I have two complete gear sets for it, a 370 and a 340. So the car's definitely geared for most road courses now. And talking with my buddy Pat Utt, and a guy that sold me some gear ratios, I could change them. Didn't know it, but they use first gear on road courses quite often. So that's the reason why I changed the gear ratios in it. And I think right now it's geared. It'll go, I think, 92 miles an hour at 7,000 RPM in first gear. So, and then obviously as you go through the gears, it goes all the way up to top speed at about depending on which track you're at, but with the 170 gear in it, I think top speed's about 165, and with the 340 gear in it, it'd be like 185, 190. So when I was talking to Pat, last time he had just raced Mid-America, and in his TA2 car, which is basically the same horsepower engine I have, same gearbox I have. He's got a quick change rear end, but nevertheless, they had the car geared for 340 final ratio, and that's what they ran at Mid-America. So I've got the two sets, so the new owner of the car will have plenty of stuff to keep the car on the track, spare tires and spare wheels, and I got a whole 5-gallon bucket full of new brake pads, spare calipers, all kinds of goodies for it. So like I said, all the stuff in the car now is all set up legal for the SVRA and HSR. They have some specific safety rules that they want. That's all been done, and then of course the car has to meet the NASCAR rule book of that era, which it does now. So yeah, so that's hopefully we'll find somebody that's looking for a good deal on a true road race car, and that can go to a new home, and we can get the Vet Hawk back in the shop and get cranking on that thing. I have big plans that car will be running by mid-year next year. I would love to have it to be able to go to Good Guys in Perry, Georgia. They put a new show on the calendar. So Perry, Georgia is in April or May. And of course, they have autocross there. And they have the Raleigh show, which is like a month before that. There's autocross at that one. But for sure, I want the car at LS Fest next year, which is in September. So I got a lot of work to do, but we'll get there. So just got to get this project going so that I can put my time and effort into the next one. So that's kind of where we're at this week. Really wasn't able to get you guys too much tech stuff this week. Apologize about that. But it's important, like on the shop equipment, especially if you have a small shop, to facilitate by putting everything on wheels, like I've done in my shop, so you can move all this equipment around. It makes it handy for I have a 15 by 15 area basically where all the machinery and the welding and the fab table and everything sits, and it's obviously you can't use it when it's all piled back there, but everything's on wheels, so within 10 minutes you can move everything around and go to work, and you run the milling machine, run the lathe, drill press, bead roller, panishing hammer, box and pan brake, got the chop saw, got a band saw, and of course we have a MIG welder and plasma table too, so a plasma machine, not a table. So I've got basic equipment that we need to get projects done, and being that they're all on carts on wheels, it makes it real easy for me to move stuff around and get it to where I can go to work. And most of the time I'm here by myself, so it just makes life a lot easier to get around. I now have a folding engine hoist, which makes it that way better, takes up less space. So it's getting to the point now where both racks can be used most of the time now, which is a big help. The Buick kind of got stuck on the two-post lift with equipment underneath it and kind of out of sight, out of mind. But that was more me than space arrangements. So anyway, so that's where we're at. Next week, I'll get that video on Scott's motor and a video on just the valves. Going out Friday. My buddy Bubba has got a 33 Highboy that I put a fast system, a fuel injection system on it years and years ago. Now he wants the car to be able to be. We've always ran it on E85 because I've built stainless headers for the car, and he had polished them. And when we were running pump gas in it, pump gas, the EGTs are a lot hotter, and it actually blued the pipes. So we took them apart. He repolished everything, got them all looking good, and then we switched the car to E85, which on the older Fast and Excel DFI systems, you couldn't switch back and forth. You'd actually have to switch programs. They didn't have a way of reading a flex fuel sensor. So the car's been on E85 all these years, and now he wants to be able to switch it back and forth in case he wants to pass the car on to his children, and doesn't want to have them worry about E85 only and damaging the motor if they put pump gas in it. So we're putting a Holley system in with flex fuel sensor. So I'm going down Friday. He did all the measuring. I went ahead and modified the harness for him. He went ahead and put it all in. So now I'm going to go down and put a tune in it, set the timing because it still has a distributor in it, and get it running, calibrate the flex fuel sensor, and then he'll be all ready to run his hot rod again. So I'll have that, and I'm sure we'll have some other stuff. If I end up going to Cars and Coffee on Sunday, I'll get some video of that. probably won't do a big video, but I'll get something to show you guys on the channel, and we'll go from there. So that's pretty much all I got for tonight. So I appreciate everybody coming out. Appreciate, you know, all the regulars that come every week. Thanks for hanging in there with me and showing up and doing all that. I hope that Ryan has a great week at SEMA with his build. That truck is incredible, and I'll try to get some pictures together on that, because that was he was sending me pictures quite often and posted some stuff on Facebook, but not enough to really tell exactly the entire package, because he was trying to keep it hush the SEMA show. So now that the car is there and it'll be on display, or the truck, we'll be able to go ahead and I'll better put a bunch of pictures together and show you the awesome amount of work that Ryan did on that truck. The craftsmanship is incredible. I really appreciate everything he does. I'm not a body guy, but I've helped my dad over the years, who was a big body framing body paint guy, custom painter, and I worked with him in the summers. I can appreciate the efforts, and quite frankly, that's why I'm a mechanic and not in body business, because I did not love it. I just don't have the patience to go over stuff over and over and over and over and over again, and when you think you got it close, you go over it again. So hats off to all the body guys that can do that, and then have the fortitude to stay on it till it's done, and then guys like Ryan who just go above and beyond. I mean, the fit and finish on that car is as good as any custom builder you've seen on TV, or any custom builders that you see at the big like Good Guys and National Street Rod shows, where they have their super high-end builds on display. His work is parallel or better than a lot of those cars that I've seen throughout the years. So congratulations again, Ryan, on that. Hope you have a great week there. So with that, I guess we're going to go ahead and pull the plug on it. Thanks, Rick. Glad you enjoyed the show. Everybody else, hit the like button. It helps with the algorithms. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. It's free. You're not going to get junk mail or anything, but it will. YouTube will send you a notification whenever I put up a new video. And if you ring the bell, it'll tell you instantly whenever I put a new video up. And if the guys that are new to the channel, you should go back through and see some of the stuff we have. I've got a bunch of stuff on the main page set up in playlists. So there's kind of certain videos that go together are all are kind of organized that way. So it's easy to go through that. And of course, the live show podcast has its own playlist. So there's all 118 episodes on there, and they keep expanding every week. So that's it. So I guess we're going to call it a night. So appreciate it. Y'all have a good week, and we'll talk to y'all later. See ya.